Hi everyone, today I'm going to have a chat with you without my puppy. He's here at the moment, but very shortly I'm going to take him inside and he's going to be effectively home alone. That's not his favourite activity, and because of that, especially at the moment, I need to practice and make sure that he is comfortable with the fact that sometime in the future this lockdown's going to end and he is going to have to be left home alone again. So to combat the fact that he doesn't like it much, we have a couple of games that we can play, and today we've chosen the Kong method, which basically is a stuffed Kong full of all things good and lovely to Chumley, from his normal kibble to a little bit of cheese, a little bit of sprats broken up, nice, and some butter, and then chucked in the freezer, frozen overnight, ready to go. This will keep him going, not for a massive amount of time, but enough to keep him occupied, and then hopefully he'll just sleep. He'll sleep until I come home. All right, so Chum, are you ready for this? Let's get him sorted then. Come on, let's go. Come on, let's go. Well, hopefully that's Chum sorted for a little while. Give me opportunity to talk to you about separation anxiety. So what is separation anxiety? In simple terms, it's where your dog is uncomfortable, stressed, or even distressed at being apart from you, okay? At being devout of that human contact. They can't handle it, all right? How do you know your dog's suffering from this? Well, there's obvious signs. There's obvious signs that when you come back from being apart from your dog, be that overnight, or you've just been down the road to do your shopping, or even you've shut the door and left them inside while you hang your washing out, okay? That they've counter-surfed and ripped things off the surfaces in the kitchen or the lounge or any room. Maybe they've gone into the bins and preoccupied themselves getting the contents out and spreading them, really kind of them, isn't it, all over your house. Okay, maybe they've barked and howled. Maybe your neighbours have complained, all right, or you've had a letter land on your mat from your landlord telling you that you're in risk of being evicted because of the noise and the complaints from neighbours. So those are obvious signs, but there's unobvious signs as well, okay? The separation anxiety can probably, if it's going to happen, will most likely happen immediately or within a few minutes, certainly within the first half hour of you leaving. And it could just be that they're pacing up and down, round and about, and tiring themselves out, panting, getting themselves in a bit of a mess. So much so that they don't get to destructing and ripping cushions apart. They just flake out because they've gotten themselves so tired through that whining and pacing. And then you come home and you think, wow, my dog's just laid there, nice and calm. We don't know. So the best way to be sure is to film. You can sneak up, all right, and have a look through the window, but in the old days when I used to go out and visit clients and see pups and walk a few of them, quite often I was told, oh, my dog knew you were coming, all right, 5 minutes ago. They got up all excited, realised that you were on your way. Now, you trying to sneak up on your dog that's a bit intuitive like that, you're not going to get the correct picture. So filming is a great way of seeing what your dog gets up to while you're out there. So that's what separation anxiety is, but where does it start? Well, probably it starts from when they're pups. Okay, we bring them home as rescues or as pups, and you know, that first night, let's put toileting aside and the whining to go out to have a wee or poop, all right? They're whining because they may just want your attention. They might want you to be there with them. Remember, they've come from a litter where they've had all their siblings, all right? They've been with their mum. Maybe they've been in a rescue with other dogs. You know, it might not be ideal for them, but they will have had that company. So to come to a brand new environment expected to just spend an entire evening completely on their own, or sorry, an entire night completely on their own, it's going to be really, really alien to them. And if they whine and howl, get your attention and you come downstairs, they've learned from day one that that works. All right, that actually if they make that sort of noise, they create in that particular way, then it's going to make you appear. So they've learned this, and then when you do leave the house, they think, well, why wouldn't it work now? And so they behave that way, not just as a coping strategy, but because it's worked in the past. It's brought you back. Now that can be really distressing, because when we go out, we could go out for a long time. All right, so key thing, we need to practice this. All right, just go out to begin with for a few seconds, and then build it up to a couple of minutes. Maybe go and have a cup of tea outside. Build it up so that your dog gets used to it. So another way of getting them used to it is to practice a game called crash mats or stay. All right, practice crash mats, where you've got a mat or their bed, and you reward them for calm behaviour on that mat or on that bed, on that towel. All right, that if they're lying down doing nothing, sleeping, that actually it's going to pay them. It's going to pay them with treats, food, maybe a stuffed Kong, maybe their favourite chew toy, or maybe we get them up, rattle their lead and take them for a nice big walk or a play in the garden. And show them that calm behaviour pays. And in a similar way, the stay. All right, the stay is a boring game to teach our dog, but if we can get them to sit, stay, to begin with, we just get them to do that while we're standing there with them, and then reward them for not moving. And then we build it up to a few steps, going back to our dog to reward them. And I say that again, that's really important. We must go back to our dog to reward them. Okay, go back, give them the reward, and then we build it up to going into a different room or going outside, like I say, but not for long. Look, guys, we don't want our dogs, when we go out for a couple of hours, and bear in mind 4 hours is the absolute maximum, and that's very rare that I would leave my dog for 4 hours, and I only leave him for that amount of time because he's comfortable with it. That you don't ask them to stay when you go out proper. All right, there'd be nothing worse than your dog sitting there like that, very obediently, for 2, 3, 4 hours, waiting for you to come back. What we really want them to be is comfortable with the notion, comfortable with the fact that we've gone, we're not there, all right? And that starts with games like crash mats and the stay. They're comfortable with the notion that you're not there all the time, but you will come back. You will always come back. And when you do come back, it's great news, good fun, a brilliant outcome for our dogs on your return. Okay, so what else can we do to get them used to us not being there? We can go through our leaving the house routine. So putting on your shoes, grabbing your coat, putting the keys in your pocket. You know, at some point our dogs will be like, uh-oh, that's not my mum or dad's or brother or sister's dog walking shoes. This is not good news, they're going to leave me. All right, so we can go through that routine of putting on our non-dog walking shoes, coat, keys in the pocket, and then just going and flicking the kettle, having a cup of tea and not going anywhere. Show the dog that just because we're going through that routine, actually, it doesn't mean that we're going. All right, and then the opposite of that, when we do want to go, let's have that routine done already. All right, out of the dog's sight or out of their hearing, so that we can have a nice, cool goodbye. What I tend to do is I give my dog the Kong, as I have just now, or one of the other games, put it down on the floor for him and be like, "There you go, mate, see you later," and I'm gone. All right, a nice, cool goodbye. No dramas, no big hugs, kisses. "Oh, you'll be all right, mate, I'll see you soon," blah, blah, blah. All right, so a cool goodbye, which leads us then into a nice warm hello when we return, and try to make sure that you come back in, that they know that you're back home, upon good behaviour from them, or what we would term good behaviour. You know, they don't know it's bad behaviour that they're ripping your house to shreds. Okay, but calm behaviour, so that they think that just lying there doing nothing is what's brought you home. So what else? Well, before you go out in the first place, let's set them up for success. I love to take my dog for a nice long walk, okay, so that he's satiated physically and mentally. All right, let's make sure that when we take them for a walk that we don't just go to the local field, clip them off the lead if they're lucky, and then let them run around like idiots for half an hour and get on the phone to our best mates. All right, let's engage with our dogs on these walks, so that when we come back for the evening, when we're going to leave them, or during the day when we go to work, that for a couple of hours they're going to go to sleep. They're going to be relaxed and calm because they've had some mental and physical stimulation. What else can we do? We can make sure that if they are a reactive dog to the postman or outside noises, that, you know, perhaps we shut the curtains, okay, or we leave them in a room with a radio or TV on. I hear classic FM's a bit of a favourite with the pooches. Okay, we leave them where the post coming through the letterbox isn't going to disturb them while they're catching 40 winks. Make sure that when you come back from those walks, before you leave them, that they've had chance to settle back at home before you disappear, that you don't just jump back in the house, right, bye, and go. You know, give them chance to settle, maybe chance to have a little bit of food and chill out before you then leave. Okay, also importantly, when you return, yes, we want to make sure it's quiet, but, you know, if they've made a mistake, if they've not handled it, let's not lose it with them. Let's not punish them, because that's not going to help, all right? Actually, all it will do is they'll get fearful of you leaving, but they're then going to get fearful of you returning, which is crazy. You know, we don't want that. In fact, the best thing about leaving, right, going on holiday, going out for the evening, going to work, for me, and I'm sure it is for you too, is those hugs and kisses you get from your dog when you return. All right, let's make sure our dogs are happy to see us. So no punishment. If they've made a mistake, they've made a mistake. Ignore it. Give your dog that warm hello, let them out into the garden, you know, maybe even go for a walk before you clean up whatever mess it is they've done, be it that they've toileted inside, or they've ripped a cushion apart, or the contents of the bin are all over the place. All right? Look, extra help is needed if required with this, okay? But those top tips, hopefully, will help our dogs. Off the back of this lockdown, I'm scared, all right? I'm scared that I'm just going to get so many calls saying, my dog's wrecked the place, my dog's angst, all right? Suffering from separation anxiety could be a thing of the future for your dog unless you deal with it now. Give them the opportunity to get used to it and understand that it's just a game. You're going to go, you're going to come back, and it's going to be fun for them when you return, all right? If you need help with implementing these things, all right, then there's an opportunity for Skype consultations while we're in lockdown, all the details of which you can find. But more importantly for me right now, I've been gone long enough. I'm going to go and get my pup, but not before I've showed you 2 games. So here we are. So one of the games I play with my dog is to have my toilet roll holder box, okay? And very simply, it's about drop in a handful or 2 or 3 handfuls of treats, some really tasty, some not, some healthy, some not, into your box. It might be worth saying that when you go out, make sure that you do leave water for them, but I wouldn't have the bowl topped right to the top. You know, if your dog does get a bit angst and they drink as a displacement behaviour, then they are more likely to make a mistake and toilet as well. Okay, right, here's another of our games. Okay, so we just get a towel, and this is the cheapest, easiest game to play. All right, nice and simple. We roll a few treats. In actual fact, normally I put a bingo bango top grade reward in the middle bit, and then we roll it up. Every couple of rolls, put some more treats. Okay. Now this is a game that your dog needs to learn how to play. So spend some time with them, helping them out with this in the first place. Okay. Oh, I've got some top grade ones in there as well. But this could keep them occupied for quite a long time. Simple game of towel roll. All right. Hello. Hello. What are you doing? What are you doing? Okay. So one of the surefire ways, or of setting your mind at rest, is that when you come back, whatever game you've left with your dog, if it's empty, they've played it. All right. That they've eaten. Now, if they're not eating when you go out, the odds are, yeah, what's that? Is that your name of the game? Is it? If they're not eating, then they're not comfortable, potentially. All right. Dogs don't eat if they're stressed. Humans don't eat particularly well if they're stressed. Well, sometimes we eat. Anyway, yeah, that was that good boy, isn't it? So hopefully that's given you some ideas, and hopefully my phone won't be going non-stop with problems with separation anxiety. Okay, have a good day. See, you got it? Go on in, get it. There's more in there. There's more in there. Go on then. Is it? Go on in. Is it? Go on in, get it. Good boy. Good lad. On in, let's be.